This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, ho there, Chef Carter. I'm welcome to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, March the 28th, 1944, the Utah Utes, well, they were called something else that might tick off a lot of people, but I'm not going to tick it. But anyway, Utah won the NCAA men's basketball tournament. We were thinking, wait a minute, why are you fixated on this tournament, the 1944 tournament? Well, it's the way the Utah got to the NCAA title game and won it was the huge thing. By a victim of weird circumstances. So anyway, Utah was 18-3. Of course, basketball in 1944, with the war, you had to face teams like Salt Lake Air Base, Dow Chemical, Bushnell Hospital, Fort Logan, Fort Warren. That's weird. Their three losses were to Fort Warren, Salt Lake Air Base, and Dow Chemical, despite the fact that they beat, well, they were in what was called the Mountain States Conference. Their 18-3 mark, they did not go to the NCAA championship game. They would go on to the NIT, the National Invitational Tournament, which back before the 1950s was actually a much bigger tournament than the NCAA's. But anyway, after losing to Kentucky 46-38 at Madison Square Garden, everyone thought that was the end of Utah's season. Well, actually, no. That's not what happened. Utah, after losing in the NIT, were basically done for. However, there was an accident that would have changed their lives forever. The University of Arkansas were victimized by an auto accident. Of course, there's an Arkansas guy. I should know. Anyway, prior to the tournament, two of Arkansas starters were injured when their station wagon broke down after a scrimmage at Fort Smith, Arkansas. Unfortunately, another car rammed into the back of their station wagon, and the two starters got hurt. So Arkansas could not do it without their two key starters. So they basically said, we can't go on. So they went on. So there was a problem. They needed some help and all that. And because Utah were close to qualify for the NCAA, they needed Utah. They decided to put Utah into the tournament and get them to the Elite Eight. Utah had all their players raised within 30 miles of the Utah campus. They had one player actually quit the team to become a medical doctor. So that was hard to believe. Utah had some great players. Arnie Farron, Fred Sheffield, and Wat Masaka, who was of Japanese descent. I wonder how he would have felt with the fact that Japan and America were at war. So Utah took on Missouri. Well, Utah took Arkansas' spot and took care of Missouri 45-35. The Final Four saw Utah beat Iowa State 40-31, getting them to the championship game against Dartmouth. Yes, the Ivy League school. And in overtime, Utah won, thanks to Arnie Farron's great performance. The Utah Utes were the 1944 champions. They only had like a six-man squad. Farron, Lewis, Misaka, Sheffield, Smith, and Wilkinson, because college teams were very small back in the day, sometimes. Depends on your school. So Utah were the NCAA champions, despite losing to Dow Chemical. So, that's funny. Regardless, the Utah Utes, this would be the only time in Utah history that they would be the champions. And all that. They would make a magical run and get to the Final Four in 1998, but were shut down. Utah's really got some weird stuff, but it doesn't matter. The 1944 Utah team went to the NIT and then had to go through the NCAA tournament as a injury replacement for Arkansas, and they won the whole damn tournament. So it's creepy. It's kind of akin to the '92 Denmark team in Euro. They weren't. They were knocked out of competition for qualifying, and then when Yugoslavia had that stupid Balkan War, the sanctions on Yugoslavia were such that Yugoslavia were booted from Euro, and Denmark, on 9 days' notice, allegedly, had to take Yugoslavia's spot. And Denmark, if it wasn't for that big win over France to end the group stage, Denmark would not have made it out of the group stage, and they would have been screwed. But everyone would have understood. But Denmark not only did that, they won the title over Germany and were European champions, thanks to the great Peter Schmeichel. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.